Rada deputy accused the U.S. of undermining Ukraine's economy. Rada deputy Arahamiya accused the United States of undermining the economy of Ukraine. The panic sown by the United States and Western countries about the invasion of Russia negatively affects the Ukrainian economy, the head of the faction Servants of the People in the Rada David Arahamiya said in an interview with Liga.net. According to the deputy, the head of the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry Dmitry Kuleba repeatedly touched on this issue, noting the unfriendly actions of the United States. In recent months, the West has expressed concern about the intensification of aggressive actions and Russia's preparations for an attack on Ukraine, while threatening unprecedented sanctions in the event of an invasion. The Kremlin has repeatedly denied such accusations, stating that Russia does not threaten or intend to attack anyone, and that statements about aggression are used as a pretext to deploy more NATO forces near Russia's borders. U.S. names purpose of new sanctions against Russia. NSC member Harrell. Sanctions against Russia will affect industry, not consumers. U.S. President Joe Biden's administration plans to use sanctions to weaken Russia's industrial potential in case of its invasion of Ukraine, U.S. National Security Council, NSC, member Peter Harrell said. Reuters quoted him as saying, according to him, sanctions against financial institutions should provoke capital outflows, inflation, and force the Central Bank of Russia to provide financial assistance to other banks, so that Putin will feel the costs from day one. According to Reuters, citing other official White House sources, the restrictions could affect aviation, shipping, robotics, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and the defense industry. Recently, Kyiv and Western countries have expressed concern over increased aggressive actions and Russia's preparations for an attack on Ukraine, while threatening unprecedented sanctions in the event of an invasion. The Kremlin has repeatedly denied such accusations, stating that Moscow does not threaten or intend to attack anyone, while statements about aggression are used as a pretext to place more NATO military equipment near Russian borders. U.S. unhappy with Ukraine's stance on invasion, media report. CNN. Biden unhappy with what Zelensky considers a heated report on the escalation of the conflict. Washington is unhappy that Kyiv is openly downplaying the threat over reports of a possible escalation around Ukraine, CNN reported, citing sources. According to the channel, tensions are growing between the U.S. and Ukraine over disagreements over how to interpret and openly comment on U.S. intelligence assessments about an allegedly impending Russian offensive in Ukraine. Some officials in Washington believe that Kyiv has been ungrateful to receive U.S. support. Kyiv, for its part, is unhappy that the U.S. is not taking preventive measures to contain Russia, such as new sanctions, sources said. Kyiv would find more benefit in taking active deterrence measures, such as immediate imposition of sanctions against Nord Stream 2, than in constant verbal warnings predicting an inevitable war. Over the last few months, the channel quoted Zelensky's advisor as saying, such warnings not only do not contribute to deterrence, but also unintentionally harm the Ukrainian economy, the advisor said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Friday that he does not see any greater escalation around the country today than he did before, while noting that the situation is escalating. He also noted that statements about a possible escalation of the situation with Russia have caused panic in the markets and financial sector, which negatively affects the economy. Investors are withdrawing money from the country. Kyiv and Western states have recently expressed concern about the alleged intensification of aggressive actions by Russia near Ukraine's borders. Moscow has repeatedly denied such accusations, stating that it does not threaten anyone and is not going to attack anyone, while statements about Russian aggression are used as a pretext to place more NATO military equipment near Russian borders. The Russian Foreign Ministry earlier noted that Western statements about Russian aggression and the possibility of helping Kyiv defend itself against it are both ridiculous and dangerous. Russian Presidential Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov said that Russia moves troops within its territory and at its own discretion. According to him, no one is threatened and no one should care.